If you've had a C-section, it's highly likely you'll be experiencing weakness in your abdominals. This isn't surprising. You've just had major abdominal surgery, which has disrupted these muscles as well as the surrounding connective tissue. You'll also be feeling some weakness through your pelvic floor, as pregnancy alone creates about a 25% weakness in these muscles, regardless of how you gave birth. This is why it is so important to regain that strength and coordination. This is exactly what this exercise program will do. So all you need for the workout is a mat, some space on the floor, and a chair handy. While you're getting yourself ready, if you're new to my channel, hey, my name's Meg. Always remember to make sure you have medical clearance before beginning an exercise program. These are safe. If you do feel any of the 3 Ps, pain, pressure, or pee, make sure you stop the exercises and book in with your healthcare provider. So making your way down onto the mat, we're just going to start off on your back. And we're just going to place the hands at the bottom of the rib cage. So now let's just take our focus to the pelvic floor. So as we breathe in, we feel the sit bones widen. And then as we exhale, we feel that gentle squeeze and lift through the pelvic floor as we feel that wrapping from the pubic bone to the rib cage. So inhale, feel the pelvic floor release. And then exhale, imagine you're sucking a blueberry up a straw into the vagina. So as you continue to breathe, you'll feel the pelvic floor connection as well as that gentle wrapping through the abdominals. And that's just activating your deep core system, reconnecting it with your breath, and then breathing out. So this is what you want to feel as we start to move the arms and legs. One more breath here, just so you can feel that connection between the pelvic floor and the lower abdominals. So now we're going to hold that contraction. So as you take a breath in, relax the pelvic floor, and then as you exhale, I want you to feel that squeeze and lift through the pelvic floor, wrapping from the pubic bone to the belly button, and keep that connection as you continue to breathe into the front, backs, and sides of the lungs. One more breath here. And then as you inhale, just completely relaxing, letting the sit bones widen, the pelvic floor melts away, and relaxing the core muscles. So we take another breath in, and then as we exhale, we're going again. We're squeezing and lifting through the pelvic floor, feeling the abdominals wrap. And we're just holding this as we continue to breathe. And then as we inhale, just relaxing and letting everything go. One more here. So big breath in, and then exhale. Keeping that connection as we continue to breathe. This is what we want to feel when we start to move the arms and legs. And then inhale, letting everything go. So now we'll add in some leg movement. So always check in with the pelvic floor and the abs first. So we're going to take that breath in. Exhale, squeeze and lift, gentle wrapping. Keep that connection as we go to breathe in, and then exhale. We're just going to float the right leg to tabletop. Inhale at the top, and then exhale, control that down. Staying with that leg. Exhale, float. So it is a slow, controlled movement, and we're exhaling when you're exerting, just to make sure that it's easier, therefore, to engage that transversus abdominis, which is the corset muscle, as well as the pelvic floor. So it just aids in that spinal stability. Inhale, hold, and then exhale, floating back down. Nice and stable through the pelvis, no doming through the abs. The main thing is here, you don't want any breath holding. The shoulders are melting through the floor. The jaw is nice and soft. you're not gripping through the top body. Well done. On this next one, we're going to stay up there. Inhale as we prepare, and then exhale, extend that leg. Inhale, floating back. So just moving into leg extensions. The lower the leg goes towards the floor, the harder the work is through the core. Inhale, float. Exhale, press. Again, nice and stable through the pelvis. One more here. And then floating back down to center. Relax that pelvic floor. Just take a couple of breaths here, just where you think about opening and releasing through the pelvic floor. And then on the next exhale, we're going to reconnect, lift up and in through the pelvic floor, wrapping from pubic bone to the rib cage as we float that leg up. So exhale, float. Inhale, hold, and then exhale, float. So if you feel that feels too easy, by all means, you can change your breath. So you can exhale as you float up and then inhale to lower, keeping in mind that it's a lot harder when you float the leg down, as you need that eccentric control of the muscles. Exhale up. Even weight through the pelvis. Really feel the movement happening at the hip joint, not the knee. And on the next one, we're going to stay up here. Inhale as we prepare, and then exhale, press that leg out. Inhale, float back to center. Try and keep the back of the head nice and long. Breath to movement. Last one here. And then floating back down. Placing the hands on your rib cage, we're going into some windshield wipers. So we're just going to stretch out those obliques. Very gently, we're going to take an exhale breath as we float the hips to one side and the knees will fall open. Take that breath in there, and then exhale, focus on bringing the pelvis back, which will just help engage those obliques to bring you back to center rather than just letting your knees do all the work. So we're going to exhale, float the knees to the opposite side, just gently drawing down through that right rib cage so we get a nice stretch through those obliques. Inhale as we hold, and then exhale, floating back to center. Exhale, float to the opposite side. Inhale, hold, and then exhale, coming back to center. Inhale, prepare, and then exhale, float. So it is really important to stretch out those obliques, as they can become very tight through pregnancy, which can actually affect the ability of your muscles, specifically your rectus abdominis muscle, to come back together. So it is important that these muscles are not overworked and that you find some length through the obliques. We'll do one more to either side. Well done. And one more here. Exhale, float. Inhale, hold, and then exhale. Remember, it's the core bringing you back rather than just floating those knees back. So in the center here, we're going to add in some nice pelvic curls. So just a mobility for the pelvis. We don't want to see a jam through that move, through the pelvis or the lower back. It's really the breath doing the movement. So as we inhale, we'll gently roll forward, relaxing the pelvic floor. And then as we exhale, we squeeze and lift through the pelvic floor as we gently roll back. So inhale, release. And then really use that exhale breath to just gently rock the pelvis back. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale. Well done. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, really breathe out through that pelvic bowl. Inhale. So on the last one, we're just going to feel these 2 extreme movements and stop in the middle to find the neutral spine position. So just stopping in the middle there. We're going to take that breath in, relax the pelvic floor, melt the shoulders down the spine and soften the jaw. As we exhale, we're going to squeeze and lift through the pelvic floor, so sucking that blueberry upper straw into the vagina and then feeling that nice gentle wrap from the pubic bone to the belly button. I can definitely feel my pelvic floor and my lower abs are on. From there, I inhale, prepare, and as I exhale, I'm going to press up and come into a bridge. Inhale, hold that, and then exhale, coming down. So we're not melting down, we're actually coming down in a neutral spine. And then exhale, pressing back up. Inhale at the top, and then exhale, coming back down. Well done. It's just a light little tap at the bottom and then coming straight back up and down. Well done. So we want to move with control. Collarbones remain open. Nice way to get some glute activation, but also to lightly stretch out through the front of the hips and that scar as well. So there should be no pain when you're doing this. It should just feel like a nice light stretch through the front of the hips. So on this next one, we're just going to add in some gentle marching. So we're going to exhale up, inhale, prepare, then exhale. We're just going to float the right leg to tabletop and then left leg to tabletop. Right leg. So don't be scared to pop some energy down through your palms to help get some activation through the lats to help stabilize. One more to either side. Inhale at the top and then exhale, calming back down. So gently rolling back up for the next couple of exercises. You will need the chair, and we're going to start off with just a plank variation. So from here on the chair, we're just going to pop your elbows onto the chair and then find that nice neutral plank. So I'll be active through the feet. Inhale as you prepare, and then exhale as we're going to roll forward into that neutral position, and we're just going to focus on that breathing. So we're breathing into the front, backs and sides of the lung, and then exhale. So we're going to keep squeezing, lifting, and really feel the zipper more from the pubic bone all the way to the rib cage. So it's really nice when you're doing planks or when you're first starting to do planks that you're focusing more on the breath rather than how long you're holding the position for. Because every time you take that exhale breath, you can really shh and just increase that activation through the core. One more breath. And then just gently relaxing. So as you get better with this, by all means, you can progress to doing it on the floor. I like to stay elevated for the first couple of weeks of retraining how to do the plank, as it is quite an advanced movement and there is a big increase in intra-abdominal pressure. So remember, it's all about progressively loading the core, so you don't want to go too hard too early, as it will affect the core being able to come back together after pregnancy. So we're going to go into a second set. We're going to gently roll those hips forward. Lifting up through that pelvic floor, zippering up pubic bone to rib cage, and just breathing again into the back, sides and fronts of the rib cage, what we were doing earlier, laying on the floor. Well done, 3 more breaths. Last breath here. And then gently coming away, rocking out. Nice gentle stretch, feel the sit bones widen, and we're coming in for the 3rd and final set. So hips are rolling forward, lifting up through that pelvic floor, zippering up pubic bone to rib cage, and just breathing. Nice and open through the collarbones, long through the crown of the head. You have 2 more breaths here. Last breath. And then just gently coming back. So now coming into a side plank position. Elevated again on the chair, so coming onto the elbow, lengthen that top leg, and we're going to add in some nice rotations. So from there, we press that chair away, squeeze and lift through that pelvic floor, zippering up pubic bone all the way to the rib cage. We're going to exhale, and then inhale to open. So exhale, we're threading under that right side, and then inhale to open. So always remember it's the rib cage gliding to the opposite hip rather than just the arm doing the work. One more. And then relaxing back down. So by all means, as you get better with this, you can do the same exercise on the floor. But again, just remember to be kind and focus more on getting that coordination between the pelvic floor and the transverse abdominis rather than going for the hardest exercise where there will be that big increase in pressure and it'll be harder to control. So we'll gently change sides. I'm going to move the chair. So coming into that side plank position, we're going to lift up, extend, drop down into that left shoulder, press away, squeeze and lift, and we're zippering all the way up to the rib cage. And then we exhale as we draw the right ribs to the opposite hip. Inhale, open. Use that breath. Gaze will follow palm. Strong through that left shoulder. You might find that you're starting to dip into it. You want to press away. Last one here. And then relaxing back down. So from there, we're going to gently come on to all fours. So wrist under shoulders, knees under hips into cat-cow. So we're going to inhale as we lengthen through the spine. Again, find length rather than just dipping into the lower back. And then exhale, we're going to press that floor away. This is a really nice mobility for the spine, but also a nice way to relax the pelvic floor. Feel those sit bones widen. And then exhale, we're thinking of lifting up and in through the pelvic floor. And then gently drawing that belly button to the spine. As we exhale and then inhale, lengthen away. Well done. Inhale. And then exhale. Inhale. And then exhale. Inhale. So we're just going to do 2 more. Just flow at your own pace. And then last one here. And then stopping in the center. So from here, we're just going to elevate the arms rather than going to bird dog. So take that big breath in, hug baby towards the spine, and just lift that right arm off of the floor while the ribs are gliding in and under the heart. And then inhale, lower back down. Let's go to the left side. And then inhale, float. So this will give a gentle stretch of that tissue through the scar. Exhale, float. Well done, nice and stable through the pelvis. And just making sure as we elevate that arm that we don't go into that rib flare, that we're pressing the floor away. You've got one more to either side. Well done. We're going to take that right leg out to the side. Focus on maintaining that neutral spine as we gently rock back as far as we can without going into a curved spine. And then inhale, float forward. So a nice way to gently stretch the pelvic floor on one side. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Good. Inhale forward. So we'll do one more here and then just go into a nice gentle hip flexor stretch. So from here, just gently taking that right leg forward. You can support yourself on a chair, or if you feel comfortable, just place the hand on the knee. When you're going into that hip flexor stretch, rather than really pushing in and arching through the back and letting the tummy, all the pressure through the tummy just pop out, you really want to make sure that you are engaging before you go into that stretch. So breath in, and then as you exhale, just feel that nice gentle lift, as well as the zippering up from the pubic bone to the belly button. And then you want to hinge forward. So you will be getting, again, a bit of a stretch through that scar. It's to be comfortable, just to help with the remodeling of the scar tissue. Also, you'll be doing a lot more sitting, so it is nice to get in and stretch through the front of those hips. So just breathing here. If you find that that's quite comfortable, you can add in a nice gentle side body bend, which will just go take the stretch further up the spine. So whatever is comfortable for you. And again, you don't want to feel any pain here. It should be nice and comfortable. 2 more breaths. And then just slowly unraveling. So coming back onto all fours, we'll take the left leg out to the side. Find that nice neutral spine position. Exhale as we press back, only as far as we can go without rounding the spine. Inhale back to center. So always pressing that floor away. Last one here. Well done. Gently stepping forward with that left leg. Just finding that connection before you lunge forward. Zippering up pubic bone to belly button, a nice stretch through the front. And again, remember, if that feels quite comfortable, by all means, let that left elbow just relax and we'll just do a nice side body bend. Just breathing into that right side body.
2 more breaths. Slowly unraveling back to center.
Well done.